Hi guys, welcome to today's Carbon Fiber Talk. I'm Nicholas from MTM Xclusive. Basically for this talk, we are actually sharing our thoughts of the car industry, in the automotive industry. So today we have a special guest. His name is Paul, our business director. So let's welcome Paul. And this is Dharma. Dharma is our sales advisor. Yep, let's welcome him as well. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so the first question to you guys, the COE system has been introduced in May 1990 lah. So to control the vehicle population in Singapore due to the rapid urbanization and the limited road space. So was this the right move now? What do you guys think?
I feel it's the right move lah. Because at the start when COE was implemented, Singapore had lesser vehicles due to limited size, so it's a very good move. How about you?
So, in my opinion, if you're talking about reducing congestion, you mentioned Singapore had very few vehicles. So, was this something that in the past? So, if it was implemented in 1990, was this something that they implemented for 30, 40 years in the making? Then today, what is the situation? What do you think about the situation today? How was the traffic when you came to work today?
Today was not so bad, but yesterday was very congested because of more vehicles lah. It wasn't maybe a plan for 30, 40 years, it was just a plan for at that point of time. But in the long run, I feel like it's a good way to control the incoming of new vehicles, so it wouldn't be so congested.
Okay. So, what is ERP for then? Further tax on that. Okay. So in my opinion, yes, in 1990 they did come out with this COE system. Did they replicate any other country? No, I don't think so.
No.
It was something that they came up with, or we being part of Singapore, we came up with. In the 1990, it may have worked. In the 2000s, it may have worked. But today, when we come to work on a daily basis, number one, I pay $8, $9, $10 on ERP. And then I pay $110,000 on COE. On top of the COE, there's also 100% tax.
Alright.
So if you look at, for example, we are doing PI. When we actually order the PI body, for example, there's no specific numbers here, but for example, the body costs us $40,000. By the time it reaches our showroom, we're talking about something about double that price. And again, ARF and all that during the registration, so that's double the price. And then you put another 1.5 times 80,000. You put another 113 in COE, making cars 200,000. We still see congestion on a daily basis.
True.
So is this something that we are doing correctly for congestion, or is it? If you really look at the numbers of COE that comes out every 2 weeks, the country is collecting in excess of 200 million every 2 weeks. So what is the intention? I'm a bit confused.
I understand. So
Cars are still being sold. COEs are being overbidded. Doesn't that mean that it's not necessarily working? Now with private hire companies buying the bulk of COEs and all that, doesn't mean that it's not working.
okay, so that's I agree with what Paul said, but this comes to the next question. So where does our COE revenue goes? That's a very a question that I believe that everybody and the audience will also want to understand more. Yeah.
To be frank, I feel it just goes to the government lah, because none of us have actually seen the piece of paper yet, the entitlement paper. It's just a e-form to let you have the car, to own the car under your name. So I feel like it just goes to the government.
So let's say if today I will tell you the COE that you buy will go to the government. So usually they will be saying that it was to improve the road infrastructure and everything.
I have a question.
Yes.
What's road tax for?
Exactly. So, okay. And then even though, let's say, like what Paul said, what is road tax? But let's say we factor out road tax. We pay 100 over 1,000 for the COE. But why is it rising every bit, I would say, or every 2 weeks?
I would say it's just inflation lah. And also because of like the disproportionate pricing. Last time, when it was not so much of inflation, everyone still could afford around before COVID. But now after COVID, because of the market down and everything, then after it rise up. So now inflation rises up as well. So now it goes above 100,000 for Cat B.
Understand.
For me, I think majority of the COEs that are being bidded on a 2-week basis, Cat B, Cat A, majority are being bidded by people who can generate revenue out of the cars. Generate revenue out of the cars meaning your private hire companies, meaning your individuals who have been doing Grab, renting, and deciding that, look, it's time for us to buy because buying is definitely cheaper. With the packages that are available nowadays, you buy, you have 10 years of warranty. I mean, who actually goes actually, you know, the word for it is, you know, when you provide warranty and you actually, what's the word for it? It's just slipping my tongue at the moment because we're early in the morning. But you actually go through your word for it, not process. So if a workshop provides you with a warranty, 10 years day, the word is really on the tip of my tongue at the moment. But the coverage is there, but they okay, never mind. We'll get the word will come in a while.
Okay.
So whichever companies actually, you know, okay, never mind. Forget it. The word will come. But you got 10 years warranty. You got 20 servicing free. You got, you know, of course, tires wear and tear is yours. But buying is cheaper. Many people are now coming into that concept that buying is cheaper. You have ownership of that car. So, 1, private hire companies. 2, individuals who realize that, okay, I can buy. Loans are becoming more accessible. So all this added up, my gut feel is, and a bit of industry talk, added up. Majority of the COEs that are being bidded on a 2-week basis is for people who can generate revenue out of cars. Now that is a good thing when you can generate revenue out of cars. But the bad thing, I think, generally for the whole of Singapore is I think we can see from this that many people are coming out of their corporate jobs and getting into this private hire cycle or Lala Move cycle or whatever it may be. I feel, and I was a Grab driver for about 2 years, not very long ago. I feel that Grab, Lala Move, etc., are supposed to be stopgaps. They're supposed to be situations or resources that you can use when you are out of a job for a while job hunting. But unfortunately, I also see that many young people who, you know, may have degrees, may have studied, may have good experience, are now caught in a never-ending loop. And the ripple effect is then you've got many cars being bought. And it's a demand and supply thing when you talk about COE. Inflation one, but demand and supply, at the end of the day, supposedly we are bidding for COE.
Correct.
So if we are bidding for COE, it's an auction. To a certain extent, it's an auction. So whatever price that we put on there is actually a price that the consumer sets.
Supply and demand, I would say.
Supply and demand. So altogether, I feel that it's not just what's happening on the roads, it's what's happening in the whole of Singapore.
Okay, then moving on to the next question, right? I would want to understand both of you guys thought PHV drivers, or I would say PHV, are actually sharing the same category as our personal or private cars. What is your thought on that?
So, let's start first. You know, a lot of people have mentioned we should separate the categories, the taxis, the private hire drivers, etc., etc. But how does that resolve the problem that initially COE came about for? Or supposedly. COE came about for the reduction of congestion. That's one of the major hurdles they wanted to overcome. Now we set another category up. How do we avoid congestion? We don't avoid congestion. We are reducing the price of COE. I mean, the intention, of course, to split is to then balance out the supply and demand.
Correct.
But by balancing out supply and demand, and you create two categories, that means again you flood the roads. I completely understand that there are families that need cars. There are families that cars are luxury in Singapore. Like, in fact, I'm sure if we're going to be talking about luxury and whatever not, But there are families who need cars. There are kids who need to travel. Today's day and time, kids are running from one place to another, and parents are sending them there. Not like the old days when we come back from school, we spend the whole day at home. Now it's from music class to piano class, then to tuition and whatever not. And I'm sure one of the parents is carrying them around. But back to the question on creating a split category, I cannot see how that solves the initial problem that COE was meant to solve. Because you want the intention, or what I hear from what people want to do is splitting up categories so that COE goes down. What would that create? More people buying.
Correct.
We have to understand something. Let's look at January. January, the first bid specifically on Cat B, the first bid, it went up by what? From 109 to 121. Don't know what the hell happened there. Nobody predicted that. How did that happen? At the end of the day, the ripple effect is to the dealers. The dealers die because a lot of dealers offer one bid guaranteed COE.
Correct.
Is that how you manage your client and whatever not? And then a couple of weeks later, just before the next COE cycle, the government announced, I think on the 28th of January, if I recall correctly, they announced that they're releasing more quota. And across a period of time.
Okay.
What everyone saw was, it's going to start to come down.
Correct.
I saw that as well. But we have to realize that as consumers, when we see the next dip, just like a stock market, we see the next dip, we think that, now's the time we need to go in.
Correct.
Because we've seen the previous high, the 121 high, then the 116 below. And we say, 116 man, it's a 5,000 saving, we need to go in.
Correct.
Now, when we go in, what happens during the next dip? Or the next following few weeks.
I believe it will go up, but yeah.
Every time you do something to drive the price down, you see, it's a FOMO culture.
Correct.
Everyone now, for some reason, 90% of the market wants to buy a car. Everyone has. You have, I don't have. You have, I don't have. So I want to buy. Then COE goes down. Then people start talking, COE went down. I think you better enter. Then you enter, and then there's 900 quota or whatever it may be, and then you got 2,000, 3,000 bids. Everyone fighting for the COE at that point. So it just creates a stock market situation. COE has never been so volatile like the stock market. It's always been an upward trend or a downward trend. It's never been 12,000 up, 11,000 down, 5,000 up. I mean, the numbers may not be accurate. Just saying it as a figure of speech. So it's the fear of missing out that is also creating this whole volatility.
Okay, then.
So to answer that question, you can create 5 categories. I personally feel that number 1 doesn't solve the root cause, which is or the main intention of COE. Number 2, it will still be imbalanced. It will still be imbalanced. What we need to do is to then say, okay, obviously I'm not the government, I'm not that. But in my very naive opinion is, let's manage the number of cars on the road. Like COE, yes, you manage the car, then you release quota and whatever not. Or come up with manage the number of registrations for Grab. Very, very critical or very the word for it again will not come to my mind early in the morning, but I think it's a very cynical or sensitive way to say it. If you say now there's 50,000 Grab cars on the road, Z10 cars or Z11 cars, then you gotta keep it that way. Anyone who's missed that boat or that bus, you want to do Grab, then you rent. Then you rent. You can't buy for yourself. That's, in my opinion, the only way you can really. If not, you've got 1,001 rental cars sitting waiting to be rented. You got Grab cars coming out on the road. How are you going to stop congestion? And the next ripple effect, sorry I talk a lot, but the next ripple effect is this. All our Grab drivers are coming in and saying we are dying because of fares. Why are the fares dying?
Too much drivers.
Too many drivers.
Right.
What did Grab do when they started up? What did Uber do? Wow, you do one trip, you got $100 extra. You go 10 trips, you got $1,000 extra. You pump the money in, suck you into the system. Then you cannot escape the system.
Right.
Now the system got so many drivers. The $6 fare you don't want to accept, cancel lah, the next fellow should accept. Somebody will accept. So the ripple effect is over many, many years. It goes from your COE to your number of cars on the road to now Grab fares. people are struggling to do the Grab fares that we used to see before. You got, yesterday I saw one post on Facebook where you got, 14 km high surge $12 fare. I used to drive Grab before.
Correct.
I would have cried on the road. $12 fare for 14 km. Your total time taken, it's ridiculous.
But okay, if that say like 14 km $12 surge, but you are saying is as a driver you would cry, right? But as consumer on the ground, like for normal people who are actually booking the ride and stuff, it's slightly cheaper.
Consumer win, so it's a consumer's market at this point.
Okay.
Consumers definitely win. But we have to understand one thing, that the Grab drivers are the one who has now taken the liability. I've seen Grab drivers who spend $150 per day on rental for Noah. I saw the contract. $150 a day. How do they cover? I spoke to that one guy, he came down down here. I spoke to him personally. I said, how much do you earn per day? $30 to $40. Feeding wife and kid. $30 to $40 per day. Because his rental is $150. I mean, yes, consumer win, but you must realize the effect. The driver drives 30 trips a day. The consumer may take one Grab trip a day. Now, if you cut the driver $1 per day on a trip, that's $30 to him.
Right.
But if you charge the driver $1 extra for his ride, that was $1 to him. You see the ripple effect. It's called economics of scale. That's the problem. When you drive the prices down, consumer happy, consumer wins. But consumer's effect is only $1. The driver's effect is $30 because it's across 30 trips. That's the problem. I think that's a major problem. I see drivers crying on the roads. They're stuck in the system. Yes, it's a choice, but we must realize that some choice. You see, choices are made based on best information at that point. Now, if it was 2015 and I look at Uber, I'm earning $4,000 as an executive in a company. I look at Uber, still young, no commitment, no wife, no kids. I look at Uber and say, wow, number one, I can rent a Merc or whatever it may be, IS250 and all that. Why I say Merc IS250? Because I did that, bodoh, I can rent IS250, I rent Merc and all that kind of stuff. I can rent. I sure cover my costs. So number one, I got free car. Number two, I'm bored at home. 1-2 hours, nothing to do. Why watch TV? Go down on the road, drive. Can earn $100 on with all the incentives and all that. $100 in the pocket. In 2015. As you get sucked in, you say, never mind, I'll do this for 3-4 months. After 3-4 months, I go back to the job. But the 3-4 months, we are beings that can be conditioned so easily. Condition meaning, I come back to the Grab. ERP come out, we complain, 3 days later, life goes on. ERP increase, we complain, 3 days later, life goes on. That's conditioning. So, coming back to this point, in that 3-4 months, we get conditioned to feel that this is a beautiful environment. Why do I go back to the corporate world? And then 1 year later, when things start to get a bit shaky, 1.5 years later, when things start to get a bit shaky, you got a 1.5 year gap in your CV. Who's gonna hire you? Then you're stuck in the system for 3-4 years. That's the problem.
I understand.
It's a major problem, I think.
So what is your prediction for the next COE bidding?
I let Dharma speak.
Oh yeah.
To be honest, I feel we'll go down in the coming 4 months, 5 months time because of election and all. But in the next 1 month, it will go up. Will go up to a ridiculous amount.
So you're saying that these 2 weeks, the next bid will go up to a ridiculous amount?
Yes, right. But if a drop in maybe June, July period because of election.
So you're saying like they hike up the price, then they bring it down again?
Yes.
That's so dangerous to say.
It's not like he said, it's a conditioning thing, so when it goes up, people feel like, why it's so expensive. Then when it goes down, then they'll think the government doing a good thing for them and all. So a lot of people buy it at one time. What's your thoughts?
I never thought of it that way. But it's a wonderful perspective.
Okay.
Driving it up to create a new high, coming down to current, and then we thanking them, saying thank you.
Yes.
You have done a good job. I never thought of it that way. But I look at it differently because I sit with many of our. We never consider the next person in the trade a competitor. We are all collaborating because if we don't collaborate, we will all be finished. But I sit around a lot with people who have been in the market for the longest time. We look at more the statistical approach. So that's why the first bid in January shocked us all. Typically, you look at any year, you will see, because a lot of agents and all that need to hit quota. It's a quota thing. Hit quota, deliver cars that were promised, close the books for 2024. Then January, first bid, second bid, quiet. This year, maybe Chinese New Year was too early. That was why the first bid shot up. Now, in terms of this upcoming bid now, what has happened in the market in the past 2 weeks? Just after the last bid, you've got quite a number of roadshows.
Correct.
Quite a number of roadshows. Roadshows, big one. How about our sales? We've had quite a number of sales here internally. How about the agents? So when you look at this kind of thing, then you can kind of feel, okay, where is it going? Because I cannot look at it the way you looked at it, which is, they can manipulate it up and then manipulate it down or whatever. I don't think that's how it happens. As much as I want to believe that, because we want to be critical of the government, I don't think that's how we can look at it. But we look at the statistics of people selling and what kind of promises are being given out. Now majority will do one bid, or people are getting smarter in terms of risk management, where they can tell you, okay, what is the COE we want? We can cap it at that. No, not right. Next bit, I feel Cat A, personal lah. This one personal, I haven't really done much of the research, but I think next bit Cat A might go down just below 90. That's a feeling.
Okay.
Might go down just below 90.
Interesting.
Cat B also maybe will soften, maybe 1-2,000. 1-2,000. Just a feeling. Again, there's no study done behind it or no conversations had behind it. Just a feeling that it will go down a bit. I feel whatever measures that were thrown out have already been thrown out to drive the prices, or to try to drive the prices down pre-election. I don't think it's worked.
I understand.
I don't think it's worked. I don't think there's any more bullets.
No more ammo.
There's no more ammunition.
Yes,
I really don't think so. I don't see how there could be another cooling measure per se. If you look at yesterday's or day before yesterday's redrawing of all our GRCs and SMCs and whatever not, that is, in my opinion, when we look at an organization, that is when we are slamming the panic button.
Correct.
So they are slamming the panic button. So I don't think we've got all the sweets of the vouchers and the whatever nots that we can spend, the free makan and this and that. We've tried cooling measures on housing prices, but HDBs are being sold for 1.7 million. We've tried cooling measures on COE. COE is still going up. So now we take out the bigger guns, which is redrawing the whole map and then crossing fingers. So if you're talking about politically driven COE prices, I don't think so. I personally don't think so.
That's the consumer mind.
Consumer mind, yes, correct. So we move on to the next question. So, how do you all feel that owning a car in Singapore, is it a luxury or is it a need or want, I would say?
Well, I feel it really depends on case by case. For the more wealthier side people, it's can be a need or maybe a not need also, because they have enough spending capacity to spend on a car. But for those middle class people, it's definitely luxurious because of protects COE itself, the body price itself, and other things that you have to spend on a car, which can accumulate to millions that you spend over 10 years.
Okay, but I would say that Singapore, the public transport is actually very modernized again. So technically, you don't need a car in Singapore. Am I right to say?
So again, I come back to conditioning.
Correct.
Why I come back to conditioning is based on my own personal experience. Technically, really, if you ask me, I don't need a car. I realized that very recently. In the past 11-12 years, I've had 17 cars. My last car, I actually sold it off a year and a half ago. And then, of course, I got my rental cars and whatever not, so I can drive those. I had a personal experience. A week and a half ago on a Sunday, I brought my dog to Next for grooming. 2 hours, right? As my missus and myself, we dropped the dog and said, I want to go to Dhoby Ghaut. I've not seen Dhoby Ghaut for the longest time. So she said, okay, let's take the train. I said, okay, I think it'll take me about half an hour or whatever. I stepped onto the train, I looked at my phone, I had to respond to 2 or 3 urgent emails and whatever not. And just as I finished responding, she was knocking on, hey, come, let's go out. We were already at Dhoby Ghaut. I was stunned, really, So conditioning, we come back to conditioning. I have been conditioned to be sitting in a car. It is comfort, it is, this again personal, it is the pampering of myself and the conditioning that I know in the morning when I wake up, I go down, my car is there, I drive. In the morning you stay in Hougang, I stay in Seletar Road. It takes me 1 hour 10 minutes to get here. He takes public transport. He gets here faster than me. So what comfort is there? Actually no, you get stuck in a jam, it's rubbish.
Correct.
So coming back to conditioning, I think if you ask me, having a car is not, I did say just now, parents driving people around and all that, kids around and all that, but it's a choice. It really is a choice. I don't think it's a need. My dad was 50 when he bought his first car. At the time he was 50, let's see, now he's 73. At the time he was 50, I was 17. I survived 17 years without a car. And public transport wasn't the way public transport was before. So we survived. So it's the choices that we make that then defines whether it becomes a need.
Okay.
Again, I'm neither here nor there because I'm so pampered I have a car. I don't sit in public transport enough to actually give an opinion that, hey, public transport is very good. But then one experience I had, the NEL, I swear to you, when we came back to Next, I went to Dhoby Ghaut, I bought a perfume from Best Perfume Store. I wanted to visit Best Perfume Store. Shout out to Best Perfume Store. Brilliant. I smell good every day, you see. But I went there, I came back, and the first thing I told my missus was, I want to buy a house on the NEL. I know the red line, I know the green line, east, west, north, south. Okay, the green line all the way till Boon Lay, I know. After that, it's all new to me. Okay? And I know the NEL. Why I know the NEL? Prior to NEL even opening, I was security guard on the NEL. So before all of you all sat on the NEL, I went up and down the NEL when nobody was in the train.
Okay.
Because I was a security guard in the stations. So I know the NEL. And I told my wife, I said, buying a house on the NEL line, your life is sorted. Really, your life is sorted.
Can go anywhere.
Faster than a car. Then of course we thought, then my son needs to go football lah. Then my daughter needs to go piano lah. My daughter needs to go for music class, another music class. My son needs to go for basketball. But all of that are choices. My son is 11, my daughter is 13. When I was in P1, I used to travel from Teck Whye to St. Gabriel's Primary School in Serangoon. Wow. By bus, alone. So, is it a need? No, it is a supposed comfort. It is a supposed. It is a luxury.
It's a luxury.
It is a luxury. If you can afford it, yes. But is it really luxury? Because when you drive on the road, are you enjoying yourself?
It's more, I would say it's more of your own space in the car.
Your own space in the car,
yes. Personally, I said, that's what I did,
Yep.
In peak hour, I'm just starting back in the MRT, sweating with other people's smell, my smell, everything all combined.
That is so one people, one nation, one Singapore.
Yes, but is it comfort though?
It's not comfort.
Yes,
but
not comfort.
Sorry guys, just now got a bit of technical issues. My cameraman never been the trip. Okay, so in summary on just now's topic, we would actually say that car is actually a luxury and it's actually a need.
So I would say we are neither here nor there.
We are neither here nor there. I would say yes.
I don't think we can define that.
Yeah, okay, so I believe today we have covered a lot of topics on COE origins, car ownership, dealership, and PHV as well. So clearly this whole topic is actually worth arguing in a way, because different people has different perspective. But I think it all comes down to the day when will COE drop again. Right?
Everyone expects that.
Yeah, everybody expects that. So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you Paul. Thank you Dharma. See you guys on the next episode. Bye.